Good morning. Welcome. I'd just like to ask you to settle in to your chair, get comfortable as we go into our quiet time of contemplation. And you can settle in by taking a few deep breaths, rubbing your hands together, silencing your cell phone, all the things we do to prepare for God. Let's take a deep breath together. And release with an audible sigh. And if you choose to do that one more time. Deep breath. Release it with an audible sigh. So as I was driving in this morning, there was a song on the radio, and it was so simple but so moving. And the words are, "My God is good all the time. Let him ease your troubled mind. Whatever the need, God supplies. My God is good all the time." So for our time together, I invite you to take that in. My God is good all the time. All the time. My God is good all the time. And however that sits with you, allow it to be. Listen and receive. My God is good all the time. My God is good all the time. All of the time. So as you bring your awareness back into this space, we give thanks. We give thanks for this day and our time together. And to bring yourself back, you can rub your hands together, stretch your arms out, whatever you choose to do at your own pace and your own time. Service will begin shortly. Thank you.
Not by might, by your power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, by your power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. You are the fire, we are the temple. You are the voice, we are your song. You are our God, we are your people. You are the light, we stand in awe. We stand in awe of you. We stand in awe of you. Not by might, not by might, by your power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. Not by might, by your power, by your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God.
Not by might, by your power. Send your spirit, God. Send your spirit, God. And in knowing that the Almighty dwells within, I know that there is one life, one perfect life that exudes joy, peace, love, prosperity, and abundance. And that's my life and the life of everyone who can hear my voice. I know that we come together today with the attitude of thanksgiving for the grace of God lifting us out of our beds, allowing us to get here safely. And for that, we can give thanks. I know that our service today is complete in the mind of God. From the music to our greeters to our security to our speaker, anyone who is here for service, I know that they are led by the might and power of God. And I know that God moves through them, through us, through all of us, providing what we need at this time to accept the goodness of this day. And it's with great gratitude that I give thanks. Thanks for all that is yet to be, knowing that God is in control, knowing that God leads and guides us, and that Spirit within us simply breathes on us, breathes in us, and breathes to us, through us, and allow us to be, and so it is.
Ooh, breathe. Come and breathe on us. Spirit, breathe. Come and breathe on us. Spirit, breathe. Come and breathe on us. Spirit, breathe. Breathe on us. Spirit, breathe. Breathe on us. Breathe. Breathe on us. Not by might, by your power, by your Spirit, God. Send your Spirit, God. Breathe.
Let's just breathe. Just breathe. Breathe. So it is. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you to NuDay. It's funny when you think about breathing, you think about breathing. And we breathe all the time and we don't think about it. But when I ask you to breathe, oh yeah, we can breathe. And we breathe with ease and gratitude and thanksgiving. So when I come into this place, I take my best breath because I get to see all of you and embrace who you are. And with that, today is a day of Thanksgiving, and we have so much to be grateful and thankful for. And I invite you to express your thanksgiving, however that works for you. I'm just thankful, so I'm trying to contain myself. I'm waiting for y'all so I can really let go. So when we get there, we'll get there together. So I'd like to welcome you. My name is Arlene King. I am the pulpit assistant today, and that means I'm just going to guide you through the service along with all of our singers, speakers, and everyone else. We're just going to do this together, and we're going to do it with God and through God. So if you're with us for the first time, we invite you to stand. We just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for being with us today. If you've been away for a while, you can stand too. It's good to see you. If you've been out of town, recovering from health opportunities, we just want to say, praise God. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Eagles. Welcome. So East Bay, let's extend our hands out in love and gratitude for those who are with us, back with us today. We see you. We know who you are. You are a blessing. In this moment, you are our blessing. We're grateful that you're here. Welcome home. Thank you. So at this time, I would invite you to stand, and we will go through our declaration of principles, what we believe, and we'll say it in unison. You can see it on the screen. If you're able and willing, please stand. And together, we believe in God, the living Spirit, Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is a logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the mortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be freedom from all discord and every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And so it is. Thank you for that. I know we are using the updated version. Some of us had put this to memory, and you saw the words, and we stumbled. So next time, you'll know, go a little bit slower, because we are using the updated version. So, wow, we're moving right along here. Should I tell a joke? No, just kidding.
Absolutely.
Are the Raiders playing today?
Yeah.
That's a joke. No. Boom, boom. I saw that game last Sunday. So anyhow, I know. All the haters are blowing up my text, right? Anyway, we do have a lot going on at East Bay today, and I want to share with you. First of all, right after service, we have our food distribution program. We have bags of food for you to take. And folks, come on down if you're watching. We have tons of stuff, and they went shopping last Friday, and there are lots of good produce and vegetables available for everybody, so stop by the kitchen on your way out today. Our youth and family is having their garden party today, the first one, I think, in the history of youth and family. So Dr. Cynthia, Jordan are all preparing the space for our youth, and I know it's going to be a great time, and I believe snacks will be served. So if you're into gardening, want to get your hands a little, in the soil, support our youth, come out this afternoon, and they start right at noon, I believe. So that's what's happening there. Wednesday, we have the prison ministry speaker series, actually before the Power Hour. Okay, yeah. They'll start at 4:15 on Zoom. Reverend Anthony and team have been hosting this this is a third one now, right? So this is the fourth one. Okay, great. So this is our community, spiritual community that supports our prison families and those who are incarcerated. And we're coming together to talk about the experience with the families and those who have been incarcerated. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn more about that ministry. Then following that at 6 o'clock, 6:15 on Thursday, we have our Power Hour with Lynn Daniels, who will be our speaker for the day, and her topic is Power Up. So that sounds very intriguing and exciting for us. And before I turn it over to the education ministry, we are having our gala. Everybody heard about the gala? Have you got your to get your tickets? Because people are starting to buy tables. So if they buy tables, the table's filled up. You won't have a seat. So get your ticket soon to make sure you're in the place. We have great music, great food, just great time celebrating the legacy of East Bay. So we invite you all to get your ticket and join us on October 29th from 2 to 6 p.m. We'll have a silent auction. Oh, actually, it's a live auction because we'll be there. And we did this in 2019, and we had a lot of great gifts that we gifted to people that got the auction amount. So we want you to come out and support that. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the education ministry. Classes are kicking off this week, and we'll hear from Reverend D. Jacqueline, we'll hear from Reverend Anthony, and then Reverend Sherry. You guys come on. No, Reverend Jacqueline's coming first, but I want you to be up here when she's done.
Hi, Reverend D. Jacqueline Edwards here, inviting you to sign up for Spiritual Principles and Practices. This is a foundation class that is only 5 weeks long, and each session, which will meet by Zoom, is only 2.5 hours. This would be one of the best 5-week, 2.5 hour per week investments that you could possibly make with your time. First of all, we are going to explore all of the basic principles of religious science, meaning we're going to learn about prayer. I know you've heard people pray from the pulpit, and you may be wondering, what is that process that they're using? Well, we call it spiritual mind treatment, and it is one of the core things that we will learn, one of the core practices that we will learn in this class. We will also explore meditation, mindfulness, visioning, and look at the role of gratitude and compassion and how those things all contribute to our setting and meeting intentions for the lives that we want to live. So I invite you to join me on Tuesdays, starting this Tuesday, September 27th, from 6:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. for the class, Spiritual Principles and Practices. To register, either visit the education table immediately after service today or visit www.ebcrs.org. I really hope you take advantage of this opportunity, and I look forward to playing with you and meeting you and just exploring and adventuring through spiritual principles and practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Question: how many of you ever heard the name Ernest Holmes? Raise your hand. Almost every hand went up. So this class is the Essential Ernest. And what we're going to do, we're going to explore what he meant, his mind, exactly what did he mean when he developed, or with some assistance, the science of mind teaching. So this is a class where we will not only look at him and how he developed, but we'll look at our own lives. We will actually look at our own lives and how we can apply the philosophy of the science of mind established by Ernest Holmes in our own personal life. This class takes place this Thursday. It starts this Thursday, which is the 29th at 6:30 to 9:30. It's a 10-week class, and we will be in back at a table. Reverend Sherry and I will be in back at a table, and we'll sign you up for any class that you choose to take. So once again, the Essential Earners, please come out and join us. Thank you. Is it a Zoom class? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Reverend FranCione. It is a Zoom class. Yeah, thank you. That's very, very important. It is a Zoom class. So please come out and join us. And if you don't know about Ernest Holmes, you will after this class. Thank you. Sherry?
Good morning, East Bay. I'm Reverend Sherry, and I will be teaching the journey of the soul. Reverend Jacqueline's class is about learning the spiritual principles of religious science. Reverend Anthony's class is about Ernest Holmes and learning about him, which is the founder of religious science. And my class is learning about who you are and your soul. It is a daily meditation class that we will go through self-healing and self-love and embracing the soul. It is a Zoom class, and it starts October 6th through November 10th, which is 6 weeks. And yeah, I'll be at the back after service if anyone has any questions. Thank you. I didn't have to go into much detail because they kind of told you everything else.
Thank you.
I guess I'll need this right now. Thank you, education team, Reverend Anthony, Reverend Sherry, and Reverend Jacqueline. I just want to do one quick thing before I move on. I really appreciate folks who take time to sit and watch us in the morning on Sundays on their couch and coffee. And I just want to acknowledge that we have Sister Crystal, Brother Eric, Brother Hamid, who I can see. So welcome. We're glad you're with us virtually. You guys can clap for them. All right, we say we're open and inclusive, and we have to include people where they are if we know who they are. So I'm excited to introduce our music ministry. But before I do that, I want to just talk a little bit about Reverend FranCione, who is the master teacher, the teacher of teachers. She's been offering these classes about creativity, and when I talked to her, she's so excited about what's going on in the class, and then when everyone gets out of the class, they talk about, oh, that was a great class, I want to do it again. So her message today is going to invite us to just do that. So Reverend FranCione, just stand up. We want to give you some love before you talk. Stand your hands out. Reverend FranCione, we see you. We know who you are. Spirit brings a great message to you to deliver to us. We receive it with love and gratitude. Thank you. And so it is. Now, welcome NuDay. We've got Trevin Lee on drums, Mwamba Black Woman on bass, Regina Woods on vocals, Andrea Brimbry on vocals, Karen Daniels on vocals, Vanessa Wynn, vocals and piano. Thank you.
Join along with us if you know this song. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind. My mind is stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 All day long, I keep my mind stayed on
walking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Good morning, East Bay family. How's everybody? Okay, I have a trivia question. I don't know if y'all can get it, but let's see. What was yesterday? You sure? What day was it? What day is today? Sunday. You sure? Yeah. So that means it's a brand new day, right? Yes, it is. Right? So whatever happened yesterday, where is it? It's gone. Long gone. So our next selection is entitled Brand New Day. And you'll have a chance to join us in singing this song. All right? Here we go.
All right, come on, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Come on, somebody. All right, listen up.
Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. It's a brand new day.
Let's try it again.
Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. It's a brand new day. He's a God of jubilation, the God of all creation. He's the one who sees you through. God's the Alpha and Omega, Redeemer and my Savior. Here's what you gotta do. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. It's a brand new day.
There's a God that keeps on healing, a God that keeps revealing these promises to you. She's a God of every season, a God for every reason. Here's what we've got to do.
Forget all your problems,
No problem,
forget all your worries.
no more worry.
God has made a way.
God has made a way.
Forget all your problems,
No problem,
forget all your worries.
no more worry.
It's a brand new day.
It's a brand new day, yeah.
Forget all your problems,
No problem,
forget all your worries.
no more worry.
God has made a way.
God has made a way.
Forget all your problems,
No problem,
forget all your worries.
no worry.
It's a brand new day.
Yeah, sing along with us. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. Sing it with me.
Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. It's a brand new day.
Come on, East Bay. Yeah.
Forget all your problems,
No problem,
forget all your worries.
no more worry.
God has made a way.
God your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. It's a brand new day.
Did y'all like that? Were y'all singing? Were they singing, Miss Lena?
I didn't hear, but a little bit, yes.
You think they were singing?
A little bit.
Y'all got to stand up. We don't believe you. 1, 2, forget about it.
Forget all your problems, forget all your worries. God has made a way. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, no problem. Forget all your worries, no more worries. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. Forget all your problems, no problem. Forget all your worries, no worries. God has made a way. God has made a way. Forget all your problems, no problem. Forget all your worries, no more worries. It's a brand new day.
All right, I heard you this time. I heard you. All right.
I have a seat at the table. Know who I am. I know who I am. I have a seat at the table. I know who I am. I know who I am.
I have a seat at the table. I know who I am. I know who I am. I have a seat at the table. I know who I am. I know who I am. I am loved by you. Loved by you. I am loved by you. I am accepted. I am accepted.
I have a hope and a future. I know who I am. I know who I am. I have a hope and a future. I know who I am. I know who I am.
I have a hope and a future. I know who I am. I know who I am. I have a hope and a future. I know who I am. I know who I am. I am loved by you. Loved by you. I am loved by you. I am accepted. I am accepted.
I am loved by you.
Loved by you. I am loved by you. I am accepted. I am accepted.
It's already mine. You say that I'm accepted. You won't make me work for your love. It's already mine. You say that I'm accepted. You won't make me earn His grace. No, it's already mine. You say that I'm accepted. Oh, I'm accepted. Oh, I'm accepted. Oh, I'm accepted. Oh, I'm accepted. I have a seat at the table. 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 You know who I am.
Let's give some more love to the wonderful musicians. That's a win. NuDay, wonderful musicians. Let's give them some more love. Welcome, East Bay Church. I am so glad that all of you are here today, whether you're physically in a house or on the Zoom call. We know who we are, and we are thrilled. Oh, okay. All right. Let's give them some more love. Wanting to welcome each one of you, all who are serving today in any capacity. We want you to know how thrilled we are that you are in the house, on the call, in the vibration that we're in, because today I'm talking about education, and I'm specifically talking about moving from taking classes to acquire information, to taking classes to shift and uplift our vibration and our consciousness. We're here about shifting consciousness and our vibrations. For it is in this consciousness that we are abiding by that wonderful scripture, Psalm 121, that says, I will lift up my eyes to the hill from which cometh my help. I will lift up my eyes to the hills from which cometh my help. And it's from this help that we can sing the songs that we just heard, It's a Brand New Day. We can sing the song that said, I am accepted. But it's in this consciousness that we know we're honoring who we are and what we truly are. Yes, today, I am honoring the classes we are offering here at East Bay Church.
But I ask you to think about this. Why am I thinking about taking a class? Today I'm inviting you to move from acquiring a set of classes to have a suitcase of acquired information and moving toward embracing and expanding the magnetic energy and vibration of your state of being. Moving toward expanding your behaviors and your actions, moving toward your thoughts and your feelings that are more than they have been before, so that you really do feel accepted, not only by somebody who may be a neighbor or a friend down the street or somebody you went to school with, but by the infinite spirit that is already housed within you, seeking to reveal itself in its full form as you. You know, years ago, I received a copy of the Science of Mind magazine that looks like this right now. This is the September issue of it. They have it, by the way, in our bookstore. I received a copy of that and some books on science and spirituality, and when my former husband was at the mosque doing what he needed to do on Sundays, I was in my bed reading all this wonderful material that I had been given so that somehow I could feel inspired. But I had this particular trip at the time I received the material. At the same time, I received a new position with Oakland Public Schools to teach at a high school here. Beloveds, I did not have all the courage that I needed to do this work. I don't know what you felt like on a new job, but I know that there was a part of me that was very shy. There was a part of me that was somewhat reticent. There was a part of me that hadn't learned to hear students talk to teachers in the way they were talking to me. And somehow I just wanted to go back home when I walked into the classroom. But somehow over the year or so, when I was reading the Science of Mind magazine, somehow something happened within me that expanded my feelings about myself and my ability to somehow interact with the students in a way that gave me a sense of courage, a sense of feeling that everything was going to be all right, and no longer was I put off by what I thought was disrespectful behavior or the fact that they were talking back to me in the way I had never heard anybody talk to a teacher before. And I want you to know that I was at a place where I knew that they wanted to play, and I wasn't a playful person at that time. And so I realized the courage that was mounting within me from reading this Science of Mind magazine helped me to walk boldly into that classroom and somehow deal with the activity of the day. We're talking about what does it take to shift your consciousness, your vibration, for where it may have been to where it needs to be for the moment. And I want you to know it was because of this experience that I began looking around, and fortunately at that time the Science of Mind magazine had a list of all the churches throughout the nation in it, and I looked to find out what was in Oakland, and at that time only one Science of Mind church was in Oakland. It was called then the First Church of Religious Science. And I drove up one Saturday, sat by the window there, and I said, I wonder who the people are that are in this building, because I somehow wanted to connect with people who were thinking like I was reading about, who were doing things related to what I was reading about. And only after I went that next Sunday did I find out that Ernest Holmes didn't intend to have a church, had no idea. He was convinced by people who came to his classes. And in attending Ernest Holmes' classes, he was convinced that he needed to start a spiritual community. He just wanted people to go wherever they wanted to go and just take the insights that he was sharing with him. And that's kind of the reason that I think that it was so wonderful that Reverend Anthony is doing the class that he's doing, so you get to see what some of the insights are that Ernest Holmes had, and that Reverend Sherry is doing the classes she's doing because they begin to tell us then how we lift our vibration to do what we need to do to be the person that can feel accepted, the person that can feel like this is a brand new day. And that's what we're singing about today. So today I want to talk to you a little bit more about what does it take to lift your vibration? What does it take to expand your way of being so that you are becoming the person that you were born here to be? You know, at the same time I was reading all this information about science of mind, I was simultaneously taking advanced courses in education, because that was the field that I'd had my master's degree in. And as I was taking it, I was reminded, as we were going all over to 18 to 24 school districts throughout the nation to train teachers to work with primary school children, I was learning that there were about 5 steps to a good learning situation. One is that the stages of growth started out with awareness, that you became aware of something that was taking place. And so I began to think of an experience that I had when I was getting ready to draw a children's book, and I remember thinking, isn't this interesting that butterflies don't start out with these beautiful wings and these beautiful colors and the ability to fly. They're little worms on the ground. I became aware of that as I was thinking about all this kind of activity. I became not only aware, but then I began to comprehend what it meant. And so that second stage of learning is always comprehension. We begin to understand meanings, understand something in the example of the life cycle of the butterfly, begin to understand something about how do I articulate this to other people? How do I spend time talking to myself and to others about what's going on? And so I began to realize that I had to be able to share with myself in writing and verbally and with others the stages of what a butterfly development is like. And I could begin talking to myself about this and other things that were important to me. And then at some point, I began to do more, not only to articulate, but to be able to write and see about something that was broader and deeper than I had known. I began to understand that the butterfly's body is transformed in the same way that your and my consciousness is transformed. So I made parallels between what was going on with the butterfly and what was happening in my life and your life. And when I got to that point of being able to write and talk about such activity, I began to realize that it was more than that. I could then teach others about how does this work. So those 5 stages of information was very important to me. And then all of a sudden I began to realize that information was not necessarily expanding my pattern of behavior. It was not necessarily expanding my way of being. It wasn't necessarily teaching me to grow more expansively. So I had intellectualized something, but I had not deepened it within my own soul. I had not allowed my own vibration to be modified by the information received. So I want you to know, I'm suggesting that you're not taking classes just to gain information. You're taking classes to expand your own vibration. It is with this consciousness that I invite you now to consider this. Yes, whatever you said is right. And we'll talk about the little ones in a few moments. What I know is that many have challenges with experiences in school. How many of you found yourself having challenges with experience in school? At least one person was willing to admit. Oh, now we have about 5 or 7. Oh, maybe 10. Okay. So some people have come to the place that I don't want to take one more class. As far as I'm concerned, when I left public school or where I left wherever I was, I am through. And so I want you to know that if you shift your reason for taking the class, it doesn't have to be a class like the one that you took that you are tired of. And for those of you who enjoyed and found yourself thrilling with the experience of taking classes, just know that you'll still be doing something different than what you did in the classes where you were academically sound. Because now we're talking about what does it take to have spiritual growth. for it's more than developing knowledge and skills. And in the slide that I'm going to ask Brett to put forward, there's a quotation that I want you to see because I think that it has so much to do with where I think we are right now. And as that slide goes up, and it's the next two down, I think, the next one down. Nope, following one, that one. This one, I think, is the one that I want you to have. No, it's one more over. Two more over. The next one. This one is the one I want you to look at. Well, this one says, spiritual growth is more than developing knowledge and acquired skills. On August the 7th, Dr. Vayun, who is the leader of, go back to the one before, Brett, please, who is the leader of the one that we, of our Centers for Spiritual Living, has been leading many of us who have been so inclined to attend his 6 o'clock in the morning meditation. What I love about this meditation, people, is that you can pick it up all day long. So if you're not ready to get up with him at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can take it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And one time at 2 o'clock the next morning, I was listening to the day before's meditation. So on Facebook or on YouTube, you can pick up the meditation, but this one is for August the 7th. And I remember it so much because that was the very day that my mother was born. So it sticks out in my mind, but the meditation that I want you to consider says this: life is inviting us to lift up our thoughts to the spiritual hills of inner life. So when you read that quotation in Psalms 121, we're not talking about looking up at the Berkeley Hills or the Oakland Hills. We're talking about the higher vibration of your own consciousness, and that is the hills of your inner life. We are being invited to identify with the greatness of that inner spirit that is already where? Say it again. Within you right now. So you don't have to go someplace to find it, but you have to be still to acknowledge it. And so the activity is to identify with the greatness of the inner spirit, and if we would breathe in its mighty power, taking a deep breath, if we permit our consciousness to rise to a greater and deeper realization of divine presence right now where you are. In other words, we're not saying you have to leave this room or go out of the seat that you're in, to sit in the silence and know there is a power, there is a presence, there is a life within me at this very moment. I don't have to go any place to find it. I just have to allow myself to be it. Isn't that what they were singing this morning? It's a brand new day. I am accepted. I am accepted. So what you're doing is opening yourself to accept yourself. And then a further part of this same quotation says, and I am a deeper realization of the divine presence forever delivering its nature to, it says us, but I want you to think, to me. It is ever delivering its highest nature to you at this very moment, every single day, all day long. Oh, but would you just listen? Identifying with this source, I invite you to affirm with me, I guard my thoughts and my speech. Will you say that right now? I guard my thoughts and my speech. Number 2, I keep my consciousness steadfast. And the third key idea here in this quotation is, I realize there is a power and strength upon which I may call. That's what we're talking about, beloveds, when we're actually singing songs like the ones you heard this morning, or we're singing the song that goes with the quotation from Psalms 121 that says, my help cometh from the Lord. And when I lift up my soul unto the Lord, unto the law, unto the highest realm within me, I begin to connect with my own higher vibration. See, it's important for all of us to know that we have a vibration. If you rub your hands together and put it close to your face, you can feel the vibration that's within you. Can you feel that right now when you just put your hands close to your cheeks? Not on your cheeks, but near it. Can you feel the heat coming from your hands? That is your vibration. And do you know that you are a magnet drawing to yourself every single moment the conditions of your feelings, the conditions of your speech, the conditions of your thoughts, the conditions of your behaviors, all are coming to you right now through your vibration. So what's in your life right now, if you like it, it's your vibration has drawn it to you. If you don't like it, your vibration has drawn it to you. And you can shift your vibration. And that's what we're talking about today. We're here about expanding our vibrations so that we live in an expanded world of knowing and truth. In the next slide that's coming forth is a painting that I did some time ago after I visited. This is my painting. It's a large painting. It's about this big, and it's over my bed. And I got the idea for the painting when I was visiting a museum in Cairo, Egypt. This was my version of Ma'at, the goddess Ma'at. And I was there with the Dr. Asa Hilliard. Some of you no doubt may have heard of him. He used to be a professor at San Francisco State College and then went someplace in Georgia. I went on the trip with him and 45 other people, and we visited this museum where the goddess Ma'at was. The goddess Ma'at is the goddess of truth. And my understanding is that there was a ritual that took place after each one of the pharaohs made his transition. I wish I could say all the lay people had that experience, but you and I can imagine that they could have had that experience if they knew that that was something for them, but the pharaohs knew it was for them. So at the time that the pharaohs made their transition, on their way to what may have been a heavenly environment, these pharaohs were told, you have to take your heart and put it on the scale. Put that image back up. Put it on the scale of Ma'at in her chamber. And when you put it on your heart on that scale, if your heart balances with Ma'at's feather, then you will be able to transition on into the afterlife of eternal goodness and joy and beauty and wonder. But what happens if your heart isn't ready to do that? If your heart has been angry or upset or mad at life and mad at people and all that kind of stuff, full of upset and anger, then it seems they took that heart and they threw it to the dogs. You know how they talk about it's gone to the dogs? That may be where that statement comes from. But they threw it to the dogs, and the dog called Nubus, you'd see him in the imagery with blood coming down his face because he'd been eating the hearts of the people who were angry and upset and distressed. Now, because I tend to enjoy updating my thinking about all these matters, I have a whole body there rather than a single heart, because I recognize that all of me needs to be in alignment with the feather of Ma'at. And so I decided to have the whole brain up there, because what I began to decide is, from reading some commentary by some medical professionals in the Science of Mind magazine, they were talking about moving away from your smaller brain, the reptilian brain, that is in the back where you move out of fight and flight, to your awareness, your intelligence, the bigger brain that you have, the cerebrum, where you move with intelligence and with the third eye with wisdom. We're talking about shifting our consciousness, shifting our pattern of thinking from fight or flight, or when somebody says something I don't like, I get ready to hit them or yell at them or scream at them or kick them or whatever. I move from that into a place of saying, I know that the infinite spirit that is within me is within this individual too. He or she may not know him or herself. But as I open my mind and my heart, I lift myself up to the hills, from which cometh my strength. And as I am lifted up, I lift up all who are in this planet, all who are in my atmosphere, in my home, in my neighborhood, those that are doing things that I don't like. Oh, what do you think that Nelson Mandela had to do while he was in prison, when he learned to forgive everybody and then came out and was able to be president of South Africa? We're talking about what does it take to lift up our consciousness to a higher state of knowing and being. And I want to take a few more examples of things that others have done that show what it's like when you're shifting your vibration to an expanded way of being. I enjoy paying attention to what it is said that Jesus did at the time that he went into the wilderness. For 40 days, it is said, and 40 means a state of completion. And so when he went for 40 days, it is said that he went in there and started wrestling with whom? Himself. Because something in him said, "You hungry? Just turn that rock into bread." And he said, "No, I will not tempt the Lord." And then at another point, something in him said, "Well, you could just jump off this hill, and you know that God's going to save you." Well, I remember being in a class once, and somebody had heard that God is always within me and thought, if I go on the freeway, I bet no cars will hit me because God's in me. God also expects that you're thinking and that you are acting with wisdom and that you're not tempting fate. And so part of the activity that we have to engage in as we're expanding our consciousness is to move to a place of knowing and a place of being where, like the master teacher or like the Prophet Muhammad, who, when he was in a cave for many days, and this is a story out of the Holy Quran, for many days, he just wanted to have spirit guide whatever he was doing. And so the Prophet Muhammad stayed there, and his wife would come and cover him up and bring him food, but he stayed there for many, many days. And then at some point, he heard Gabriel say to him, "Write." And he shuddered with fear. Gabriel said again, "Write." And he said, "I don't know how to write," because he was not a literate person. And Gabriel said, "Write." So what is spirit, when spirit tells you to do something, and you think that's not part of your skill set? Are you saying, "I don't know how to do it, I can't"? Because that's basically what the Prophet Muhammad did. And then Gabriel said one more time, "Write." So he began dictating the Holy Quran to people who could write. Are we not to use the resources that are around us? Are we not to be drawn to the very people and circumstances and conditions that will able whatever it is to unfold in divine order and with divine love? That's what we're called to be about, and that's what I invite you to do right now, and that's basically what the Prophet Muhammad did. And the Buddha, also, who tried many different paths to transcending what had been going on in the world, and then he sat quietly under the Bodhi tree. And after a period of time, he was able to come forth with the eightfold path of what it is to engage in right living. We're talking about what does it take to move ourselves into an expanded way of being, an expanded way of knowing. And that if you feel like those were the master teachers that were head of all these big religions throughout the world, and that couldn't be me, we want you to know, just like Harriet Tubman had been enslaved and then had a sleeping sickness, she went with her sleeping sickness right into trying to get people away from and took 300 or more people out of being enslaved. Even with the illness that she had, She went into costume so that people wouldn't be able to recognize her. She was going from one place to another on a bus or a train. We're talking about someone who we've heard about that was in the physical flesh just like you and I are, who began to move on what she was guided to do and did it. We are invited, like Mother Teresa, who served the beloved, who were very ill people, and I understand raised more money than anybody else did for the benefit of those particular individuals that she was serving so that she could go ahead and do the work that she was called to be about. You and I, beloveds, are called by the Infinite Spirit to do a something. Now, sometimes we think it is to do what we want, and so therefore we go about saying, I am going to invite Spirit to manifest in my life something that I want to have in my life. And that's all good because it helps us to know that that energy is drawing to us what is like ourselves, but we must become something that is within us in a greater way to bring it forth into our lives. But what we're really here about, beloveds, and this is what I invite you to consider, we're really here about being the place through which the Infinite Spirit works its way in the world. And so we're here to have a revelation. We're here not only to have manifestations, and those are good. It's important to have manifestations because we get to know this is how Spirit works. Oh, I love it. I got the car I prayed for. I got the man I prayed for. I got the relationships. I got the job I wanted. I have just declared the truth, and it has magnetically come to me. How many of you have had that experience where you've had those things? See, we're talking, I want you to know these are people who are telling you right now with their hands up that they have manifested something in their lives that they wanted to take place. But know that life is inviting you to even more than that. Life is inviting you to not only manifest your desire, but to be the place through which the Infinite Spirit makes itself known in the world through and as you. You are the place where God lives, moves, and has its being. You are the place where God shows up. And so I want to take just another moment and ask you to stand up with me to do a body prayer that we just did in the creative class that I just taught. And Fabiana, you can come right on up here and help me lead it if you want to. She was the one that told me that she'd only work with children until she got in our class, and then all of a sudden she was leading adults, weren't you? Yes. Okay, so we're just saying there is a testimony right there. She became greater than she had been before we finished this class. We just finished last Tuesday. Thank you, Fabiana. So I'm going to invite you to do this, and I'm going to put this down. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is rub your hands together and just say, Mother Ocean, Father Tree, awaken now, the child in me. So I'm open to be free. One more time, Mother Ocean, Father Tree, awaken now, the child in me. So I'm open to be free. Why am I asking you to be childlike? Because one of the things we discovered as we look at the parables of Jesus, where he reminds us that he said, let the little ones come unto me, forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. Of such. So childlikeness, we're not talking about childishness. We're not asking you to be childish, foolish, and stupid. We're asking you to be childlike, open and free and imaginative. That's what we were doing in our Creative Genius class that concluded last Tuesday. And so we could use our imagination in play. We can use our imagination to tell jokes with one another. We can, Arlene just had us with a joke this morning, so I'm going to let her joke stand for all that gets to be told by me today. but we do some movement, and we do some dancing, and we do some exploration. All the kind of things that life is inviting us to do and to be that is more than we've ever been before. And somehow the imagination shifts us out of something we're locked into. See, when I was teaching that class, I was locked into thinking that kids in class need to behave a certain way, and they were letting me know we're not behaving in that way. And so I had to have the courage to accept them as they are. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We're talking about expanding our vibration so that we are being able to bring forth some. Let me just give you a couple of examples. I discovered that through dreams, yeah, you can sit down if you want to, but we're going to stand back up in just a minute. Through dreams, I discovered that what used to be the way that needles would work, where at the end you could put the thread in the end of the needle and sew, but no, that through somebody's dream they found if you put the hole at the tip, then you could use it in a machine and it would sew. And so the sewing machine came out of a dream, childlike, if you will. Stoplights came out of a dream. Many plays and many musicals, many solutions to existing challenges come out of a dream, and many engines came out of people's dreams. So in our class, we had people spending time actually writing down their dreams, recording them. And for my final project, I painted one of the dreams that I did, so that people could see how I was working with dreams, and we'll be teaching more classes related to dreams because I really believe it's one of the many ways that Spirit speaks to us about things that we do not know that life is calling us to be about. Are you following me? Yes. So as we begin to conclude then, I invite you to shift your vibration and invite you to declare with me, and will you say these words after me? As I speak my word,
As I speak my word,
my vibration shifts by uplifting my beliefs,
my vibration shifts by uplifting my beliefs,
my feelings,
my
thoughts,
thoughts,
and my actions.
and my actions.
My vibration magnetically draws to me
My vibration magnetically draws to me
manifestations of who I am and what I desire.
manifestations of who I am and what I desire.
And as we go forward, we then say, I contemplate deeply.
I contemplate deeply.
Revelations come to and as me.
Revelations come to and as me.
I listen and I am amazed.
I listen and I am amazed.
I am expressing divine emanations as and through me. How many of you found Spirit acting through you, surprising you with doing things, being someone, saying some things that you had no idea? Shocked you into knowing that I am more than I ever thought myself to be. And so I began to realize that I am the place where God lives, moves, and has its being. I'm the place where God shows up. And I'm going to invite you to sing those words to me. They're actually on one of those slides there. If you can see that, Vanessa and NuDay are going to sing that verse with me because Eddie Watkins' song, I think, can be our song, and we can stand up and sing it if you want to.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
One more time.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Now turn to your neighbor and say the same thing. You
are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. You are the place where God shows up. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
It is in this consciousness that we stand together, accepting that I am the place where God shows up, where there's only one life, one eternal presence, one eternal power, moving its magnificence through and as all life everywhere is in my life right now as my life, and each person in this very room and on this very Zoom call. For we're accepting right here and right now that the eternal presence is the vibrating energy that is within us, and that we are now lifting ourselves up to the hills of our own consciousness, up to that higher vibration where we know that we are being called for greater yet to be in activity, in beliefs, in feelings, in thoughts and behaviors, so that we know that we are drawing to ourselves experiences that manifest our highest good. Oh, I give thanks right here and right now to know that this is the truth for East Bay Church and all the people who are on this very call. I accept right here and right now that what is true for each one of us is also true for all throughout the nation and the world. I so loved when I heard the physicists describe that when those who were on the moon could look back and see Earth in its wholeness, they began to see that we could create laws and principles and practices that would be for the whole nation, not for just one community, one state, or one way of being and believing. We are the place where infinite spirit shows up, and we give thanks right here and right now that those people who are in Puerto Rico and have been challenged by all the activity that is taking place weather-wide there, those who have been moved from one location to the other because of the movement that they need to take place to leave the area where they had been, are now in their perfect place and being absolutely nurtured and cared for. We give thanks right here and right now that we are the place. East Bay Church is the place where we are supporting and loving and nurturing people within our community who are without homes, who have found themselves abused by gun warfare. We give thanks right here and right now that the prison ministry of Reverend Anthony and the good work that is being taking place is now lifting all of us up to a higher vibration, a higher field of knowing and being, and we accept right here and right now it is done. For this and so much more, I joyfully give thanks as I lovingly release this word unto the law, accepting right here, right now, it is done. And so it is. And so let it be. Peace and blessings, beloved.
All right. Let's give Reverend FranCione some love. So it is time for our gracious giving. I have two up here for some reason. Reverend FranCione, one of the quotes from her talk was, "Expand our way of being." And for that, when it comes to gracious giving, it's an opportunity for us to expand our way of being through prosperity, abundance, and generosity. So our affirmation today is, I expand my way of being. We say it together. I expand my way of being. I live in prosperity, abundance, and generosity. One more time. I expand my way of being. I live in prosperity, abundance, and generosity. It's time for gracious giving. And on the screen, there'll be several ways that you can give. NuDay is going to bless us with our offertory song. Text, giving, Zelle, PayPal, many ways. And we are grateful.
Grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Oh, yes, I'm grateful.
Sing with us.
Grateful, grateful, grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Grateful, grateful. Yes, I'm grateful. Grateful, grateful. Yes, I'm grateful.
So we give thanks for the gift, the giver, knowing that we are expanding our generosity, our prosperity together. So I'm blessing the offering. I know that it goes forward, providing what it needs to this community and beyond. And so it is. I ask you to please stand. We're going to ease our way out of here with a little brand new day. But as you go, know we go in love, we go in peace. And reminders, we have food in the kitchen. The education ministry will be in the fellowship hall, and you can play in the dirt in the back with the children. So I bless you. I give thanks for you. Have a great day. And so it is.
All right, here we go.
Forget all your problems. Forget all your worries. God has made a way. Forget all your problems. Forget all your worries. It's a brand new day. Forget all your problems. No problem. Forget all your worries. No more worries. It's a brand new day. Forget all your problems. No problem. Forget all your worries. No more worries. It's a brand new day. Forget all your problems. Forget all your worries.